Guten Tag, meine Damen und Herren, und willkommen bei Wandel dabei. Wir sind heute zu Besuch im Schloss Bellevue. Dort wird sich nämlich bald der Besuch vom slowakischen Präsidenten Marschall Ondro stattfinden bei Bundespräsident Ralf Kant. Wir warten aktuell, bis die Personen nun fertig sind. Wir haben noch keine Informationen, wann genau die Personen bei uns beitreten. Deswegen warten wir noch einen kurzen Moment.
Der sieht aus, der Deutsche
Guten Tag,
Den
meine.
slowakischen Präsident mit Heil Hitler begrüßen.
Na, Alter, wenn du das machst, ne, ich werde dich halt sofort muten.
Ja, Herr Präsident.
Ja, was ist denn,
Wir
Alter?
müssen
Wer ist denn der
unsere
Neue? Der
Beziehung.
sieht aus wie ein Fake-Account.
Ja, dann.
Hi.
Wer denn?
Der Neue
Wer
auf dem Lehr-Server.
Wer denn? Ach, das ist mein Fake-Account.
Ach so, du meinst Calera?
Calera? Nein,
Nee,
Calera ist keiner.
Gut,
Der ist keiner, der ist auf.
Darf ich den slowakischen Präsidenten mit Heil Hitler begrüßen?
No, if you do it, I will mute you.
Wo ist eigentlich der slowakische Präsident? Ich habe ihm schon extra Rechte gegeben.
Ah,
Da ist Calera.
Calera redet.
Calera Ehrenmann. Das ist
Calera.
der Mitgliedsband.
Wo ist denn hier der Präsident eigentlich? Kommt er noch?
Marshall Ondro. Ich habe dem gesagt, dass er kommen kann und wollte den auch hier auf dem Server pingen, aber ich kann ihn irgendwie nicht pingen, warum auch immer.
Calera?
Ich mach mal kurz hier Deutsch.
So,
Ist der das?
was wollt ihr jetzt?
Ach, Junge.
Junge Roland,
Wir
jetzt
machen-
Gespräch, ruhig.
Wo ist der
Ein
Slowake?
internationales Gespräch.
Ach
So kommt jetzt der Slowake oder was?
Wir warten immer noch auf die Ankunft des slowakischen Präsidenten. Es gibt Gemüter, und da ist der Präsident. Wir schalten jetzt live zum Schloss Bellevue.
Wohl.
Wenn Präsidenten reden, hast du zu
Ja,
schweigen.
jetzt reden die Präsidenten. Ja, das dürfen wir nicht. Wir dürfen zuhören, aber.
Mutet euch alle selbst, bitte.
Hello, dear Slovakian President. You may mute yourself.
Hello, thank you.
Together we gather to talk about topics like the European Union, the NATO, and especially the sanctions. Ask questions. Are you okay with that?
Of course.
Do you want to start with a certain topic or?
Yes, I'd like to start.
Okay, go on.
Well, first of all, hello everyone. I'm very thankful for the opportunity to stand here. I thank the President for inviting me to this press conference. And I will say a few words in German. Die Slowakei, wo ich herkomme, und Deutschland, waren nur innerhalb des letzten Jahrhunderts Zeugen von den 2 schrecklichsten Kriegen, die es auf der Welt gab. Ich finde es angebracht, sich auf dies zu erinnern, aber unsere Aufgabe bleibt, mit heutigen Möglichkeiten So etwas wie die zwei Kriege und Europas Spaltung im Kalten Krieg durch Kooperation und Freundschaft zu verhindern und für Frieden zu sorgen. Denn Frieden ist keine Selbstverständlichkeit. Denn nur durch Zusammenarbeit können Probleme wie Umweltschutz, Arbeitslosigkeit und viele, viele andere Schwierigkeiten gelöst werden. Thank you.
I thank you for your. I thank you for. This is really good and really touching that you held the speech in the language we use here. I think if I will. Talking about the European Union, for example. How do you feel about the European Union? Do you think it should be a more economic union, or do you think it should be also a political union too?
Well, I think at the start, the idea of the European Union was to create an economic union in Western Europe, and I think that's a good idea. And of course, it should be also held together by some political decisions of the world leaders. However, I think this shouldn't be taken too far. Like, we don't want to see what the Soviet Union was. But it should remain as a strong and economic union to help the rather smaller European countries.
Yes, I also think like that. I think the European Union is necessary, but I also reject the idea of a European monster state. Like I want to say it. I think every state should remain sovereign and independent, but cooperation is always good. I also think, and I think you will agree with that I have the vision of a Europe from Lisbon to Vladivostok, from Spitsbergen to Gibraltar. I don't think that Europe ends with Romania or with Poland. I think the European culture goes further. I think Russia is also part of Europe, and I think we should take it more seriously. How is your opinion on that?
I absolutely agree with you. I think the geographic borders of the European Union end at the Ural Mountains, and I absolutely think that the European Union should have a closer and bigger cooperation with Eastern countries like Belarus, the Baltics, and of course Russia. Maybe perhaps even countries like Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and Turkmenistan.
Mm-hmm. I also think this is important, especially we should end with the sanctions against Russia.
Yes.
Because it does not only hurt Eastern European economies like Slovakia's economy, also Eastern Germany's economy is very much hurted because of the Russian sanctions. So I think we can all gain something if we are in a relationship or cooperation with Russia instead of a relationship of enemyship.
Yes, of course.
How is your view of China?
My view of China? Well, China, the People's Republic of China is a slightly different regime than most of the democracies, of course. But, well, it's a one-party state. But I have a rather neutral mind of China. Well, I like that, especially in the last months, they send a lot of help to European countries, Italy and Serbia, for example, to fight the coronavirus. So I think we should give them credit for that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, but I also think that it is a dangerous policy of China. I think they want to buy themselves into Europe. This should not have happened. I think Serbia and the other countries should have been helped by the European Union. It would have been much better, because I think China is a dangerous country. They really support subversive actions. Also in Australia, if you heard from it, there was a Chinese spy in the Australian government. They also use 5G Huawei to maybe spy on our citizens. So I think we should be more distant of China. Also, I have to ask you, what do you think of NATO?
Well, NATO, it's a military organization of mutual defense. And like many things, like the European Union, it's a good idea at the start. However, I strongly dislike some of the actions that were taken by NATO. For example, what they did in Yugoslavia.
Mm-hmm. Yes, for example, the Kosovo War was also against the international law. Also, the German chancellor admitted it many years later.
Thousands of innocent people in Serbia.
Well, I also think NATO has natural use. It should be supported, but they also made mistakes, and I think we should analyze these mistakes so we can learn from them. I also do not like that NATO is that much focused on Russia as on other countries, because if we would have a more relaxed view of Russia, the situation will be better also for Eastern European countries, in my opinion.
Yes, I agree with that too, because NATO is having a lot of military trainings, especially in the Baltics, as close to the Russian border as possible, and I don't really think there's a use for it. Russia isn't a threat.
Mm-hmm. Let's move on to another topic. I thought about the European identity and what factors made this identity, what factors created this identity. And I came to the conclusion that especially Christianity was the primary force against for the forming of the European identity. How is your view on that?
Well, the European identity is kind of diverse, I won't lie about it, and Christianity has been a big part of the Western world for a long time. And, well, it's a religion, and people often do a lot of things for their religion because they think it's right and they think it's what they should do. And I don't think it's mandatory for someone to believe into some religion. It should be up to them to decide if they want to believe it or not. That's how I see it.
Yes, of course. I also think freedom of religion is an important trait also of our culture, and it is also an important trait of Christian tolerance. However, I think that Christian values influenced our identity very much. And I also studied a little bit Slovakian history before this meeting, and I was surprised how similar in some parts Slovakia's history is with the history of my second homeland, Romania. Is both countries have a very strong relationship with the church. I also have seen that Slovakian identity based very much on the church. Is this true?
Yes, that's absolutely true. Like, I looked at some numbers. It was a long time ago, a few years. It might be changed by a little bit, but I believe they said 80% of Slovak people were believing into some sort of a religion, that they were religious.
Mm-hmm.
And that isn't...
Yes?
Well, that's... And Slovakia, of course, used to be a part of Czechoslovakia, and that's not the case in Czechia. There's only a small percentage of people is religious there. But yes, Slovakia is a very religious country, and a part of that where I'll say not supported in the communist regime. But I think that people should have the right to believe into pretty much what they want.
Mm-hmm. And I also think that we in the Western world good. Now the question is, what is the Western world? We in Germany should learn more from it. I don't like when Brazilian politicians try to bash Eastern European countries and say that they are not European, that they are not integrating to European culture. I think sometimes Eastern European countries are more European than Western European countries. For example, also in this case of Christianity or in this case of moral values, I think Europe was attacked by cultural Marxism, and in Western Europe it spread much faster than in Eastern Europe. How's your view on that?
On the spread of Marxism in Europe?
On cultural Marxism, yes.
Well, like I said before, the cultures in Europe are slightly different from a country to another, but they're still connected with each other, at least a little bit. Like every country had some cultural identities with its neighbors, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, yeah, it's different in all parts of Europe pretty much. I don't really think there's too much to say about that. We can't really do anything about it, but it's not bad, I mean.
Mm-hmm. And I mean also former rivalry countries like Germany and France, and now Hungary and Slovakia have much better relations than in the past, in the last 100 years. And I think it is important to stay united in this global world,
yes,
as a united Europe.
The thing is, we had pretty much half of the last century was Hungary and Slovakia, where they were not friends. But I think we shouldn't be dependent on what the past was like. We should make our own future, make a better future, where we won't be enemies with Hungary, but friends. And a strong European bloc, not a whole monster state, but a block of countries that hold together.
Yes, I also support this vision, and I hope that our countries can cooperate to move in such a direction. I also think that we should leave the past to be past, and we should move forward. And I think to it is good to also start to look after new cooperations, for example, with Russia, or to forget historic rivalries. For example,
Ralf, dein Internet geht gerade wieder ab.
Is with France, in Slovakia's case with Hungary. Do you like the... Hello?
Ralfs Internet.
Hört man mich?
Er ist wieder da. Du warst total abgehakt.
No, what I wanted to say is, do you want to say another thing, or should we start the Q&A? Hello? Hört man mich?
Ja, Ralf, man hört dich, aber den anderen nicht mehr.
Ja, man hört den Präsident der Slowakei nicht mehr.
Ich glaube, die Invasion war zu schnell.
Ralf, du sollst nicht immer so aufdringlich sein.
Er hat auch, Sekunde, er hat noch seine gesagt, ob man seinen Kumpel freischalten kann. Er heißt Comrade Schaschlik. Hab ich jetzt gelesen. Geht's jetzt?
Jetzt geht's.
Er hat gesagt, dass man vielleicht seinen Freund Comrade Schaschlik freischalten.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Great.
I just wanted to ask you if you want to talk about another topic, or if we could start a Q&A session. It's up to you.
What was the last thing? I didn't really understand it.
If you want to talk about another topic, we can talk about this other topic, or we can also start a Q&A session now.
I think we could start a Q&A session.
Okay. Der Journalist may ask a question.
Yeah, I have a question. Yeah. Oh.
Ich habe eine Frage.
Yes, Jan?
Yes.
Hello, my name is Jan Schneider. I'm from Fox News. Welcome, Mr. President Ondro. First question, how do you like Germany? And second question, how do you want to interact together with the new German government in the future?
Well, Germany, I like Germany. It's back in the day when Czechoslovakia was still around, it was a neighboring country. Both of Germany actually. And I think I like Germany, and I think we should cooperate much more. Because let's be honest here, Germany has one of the most advanced technologies in the world. And I think if countries cooperate together properly, like I said before, they can achieve big things, much bigger than they can do now. Thank you.
Yeah, I have a question too.
Yes.
I'm David König from Fox News either, and I would like to ask you, Mr. President, which ideology do you represent as the president of the Slovakian state? I know you have to be neutral, but which ideology have you represented when you get elected?
Well, I'll be honest with you. How could I say this properly? Well, I was thinking about the ideology of Marxism-Leninism before a lot, and I still kind of agree with some of the ideas. But in the last days, in the last months,
you can simply unmute you and then ask the question if you like.
He's just he's responding to my question.
Yes, I'm trying to. Well, in the past, I'd say I'd used to kind of represent Marxism-Leninism, but today I'm trying to take a slightly more different turn.
Thank you, yes.
Thank you.
Mr. President, I'm from the Anker, a small magazine in Germany. I have a question, and that is, do you think that there are still many historical grudges in Slovakia that are kind of in the way of a true Germano-Slovak friendship?
Well, I think, yes, and sadly there will always be at least a few people in every country who are against everything. But the history of Germany and Slovakia was kind of complicated. In the Second World War, we used to be allies for a while, but then the sides switched and everything moved on. But I think today Thank you.
Ja, hört ihr oder hört ihr auch nicht?
Doch. Er hat ja erst zu Ende.
Gerade aufgehört.
Aber sein Ding leuchtet gut.
Gibt's noch weitere Fragen?
Yes, Mr. President. Are there any other Eastern European simulation?
Yes, there's actually quite a few of them I know. I know Hungary, for example. I also saw a Romanian one, a Polish one, Ukraine, Belarus, Russia, of course. There's a lot of them.
One question.
Yes.
Because you like now mentioned all of these simulations, I'm one of the leaders, like let's say one of the leaders of this political simulation. Could you please send me some of those, or tell me where I can find them? Because it would be probably really interesting also to cooperate with those.
Provide an invite to one of these.
Yeah. It would be really nice.
Yes, I can do that.
Good.
Could you answer a question in German?
Ich kann es versuchen.
Herr Präsident, woher können Sie so gut Deutsch?
Ich hab's gelernt. Das habt ihr jetzt wahrscheinlich nicht erwartet, aber...
In der Schule?
Auch, aber ein Teil meiner Familie lebt in der Schweiz oder lebte und teilweise von dort, aber sonst in der Schule.
A question from me again. How did this meeting, this press conference exactly come to be?
Well, I came together with Mr. President. We had a nice little talk and he offered me to come for a press conference to Germany, and I was very happy to accept that.
Thanks.
Do you want to invite President Khan to Slovakia?
Of course, I'd be very happy to host him there. Anytime you want. Anything else?
Well, Mr. President, why don't you tell us a bit more about yourself as a person?
As a person, that's a big question. What exactly do you have in mind that you'd like to know?
Like in general, how long have you been in office for? How old are you? What party did you run for? Etc. etc.
Well, the story how I got the presidency in my server it's quite a story. In the server there was a civil war in Slovakia. I formed a party. It's called the Slovak Democratic Party. Basically a mix-up of most of the leftist parties and the minorities that were there. And yeah, I think you can imagine we don't have that yet.
Okay, so you need to be you need to grow, I think.
But we have taken some basic elements from the Slovak Republic as it is today and we're trying to improve the nation every day.
Okay, good. Good to know. would like send it to anybody else then. We already have a direct message open, so you can just send me all of those.
All right.